Hey folks, it's Jang here with a look at the LEGO Mixels Series 7 MCPD. Yes, the Mixels have their own police department. This first one is called Kuffs, and it looks like he has a motorcycle police style of helmet with the big dome there. He's also got his sunglasses that are just propped up kind of on his forehead. He's got a pair of cuffs for doing some arrests, and he has one longer arm, and that's supposed to represent the long arm of the law. Get it? Yeah, makes sense. This one actually has quite a lot of articulation on this arm because it has all those joints on it, which allow you to really move this around quite a bit. It also has the 3 separate fingers that can be moved independently. And this one has a jumper piece, a 2x2 jumper piece, which allows you to attach all sorts of different things to the hand. You can't really grab things properly with this unless you can stick something into the end there, but this actually does work out pretty well. And of course, as always, you can move your legs around, you can splay them out, kind of have dancing kind of moves and stuff. And I like the fact that he's got the 2 different colored lights down on the legs, and also you can open up the mouth quite wide, which is really not so much for eating in this case as it is for just barking out orders, you know, to folks who are being a little bit unruly. Not a whole lot to see from the back, but it is decently well covered from there. So this one's pretty nicely done, and as always you can rotate the eyes around. So in this case, both eyes can just be turned in different directions, and you can slightly change the expression by just twisting the little minifig police hats around, so you can kind of make him, you know, just look like he's changing his eyebrow position just a little bit like that. This one is called Busto, and it is kind of a mobile jail cell itself. It's a Mixel that is a jail, and this is the one that comes with a Mixel with an N out of this series. This one has a pretty cool facial expression on it, and you can actually incarcerate this Mixel by placing it into Busto. Busto gets its name though from the fact that there are always prisoners that are busting out of containment there. So the back of this one can be opened to drop off a prisoner, or you can just let them out if they kind of sweet talk you out of it. He also has a crowbar here, which doesn't make sense because he might end up just kind of dropping that into his head to help out the little guy on the inside. Maybe he feels sorry for him or something. The feet on this one don't really work well because, yeah, they kind of move off to the sides, but then what do you do with that? What do you do with that? I guess you can kind of find a way to balance it just barely like that, but yeah, it doesn't really do that much. I think it would have been better if the feet somehow were able to just rotate forward and back to just kind of shimmy along. This one does have 2 sets of lights, so a light pair here and then a light pair back here once you open that up. And this has the new tooth piece, the new 1x1 tile piece, which is rounded on one side, and you got a couple of those which allow you to rotate them around so you can change the angles of the teeth. You can make them look a little bit more serious, a little bit more buck-toothed like that. And you can just rotate these eyes around a little bit to make them look like he's looking in one direction or another. Or he could be actually turning around and looking at the prisoner that's inside. So that's kind of a funny look. This one is Tiketz, and he comes with the new printed cookie-roni piece, which is a cookie, and it's also pepperoni pizza, or pepperoni itself. Yeah, printed piece. It's good food for Mixels. This is an interesting one. Doesn't immediately look like anything in particular. It doesn't look like it's trying to represent one specific thing. I know that it's inspired by various different real life things, but ultimately it just looks very creative, which I think is a good thing. And this is also an interesting build and has interesting playability and posability to it. So I mean, the face is obvious, right? Single eye there. I like the lights on the sides there, especially with a little bit of light coming from behind. Also has lights down here. These are teeth off to the sides, which are a little bit awkward to me because that's really just the mouth right there in the center, which is kind of normal and understandable. These are like arms and legs at the same time, because he's got the tires in the front that he actually gets to roll around on. But you can bring these up and actually bring these back. So you can do things like this and actually have them kind of rolling around on two wheels like this, and use the arms, if you will, just as arms, you know, to use them as hands. And you know, it's different, you know. I think it's kind of cool. You can just kind of drive him around like that, and then he kind of transforms back into his landed form. Bring those down. They kind of almost act like kickstands like that. I think that's pretty cool, and kind of looks like he's got a little bit of a windscreen up here on the top. It's different, and I like the fact that it's different. Overall, I think this MCPD tribe works out pretty well. I think it's more grounded than the other tribes to date, but given that they're going to be based in a city, I think it makes sense. You know, you have some little bit more connection to more traditional pedestrian themes, you know. I think the builds are still wacky and imaginative enough in spite of that, but I personally still prefer the alien and animal and monster-based Mixels. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.